Hey everyone, and welcome back to Gergo Print 3D. It seems I always overpromise a bit, but we get to everything eventually. Today we are tackling that common frustration with Creality's CFS units and certain spools. Here is the easy self-printable fix for the filament feed issues, which I teased earlier. This is our improvement on an existing mod, using inexpensive parts you might already have, or you can easily get from AliExpress. We'll upgrade the CFS units on both my Creality K2 Plus and the high combo we got from geekbuying.com. This time we stress tested the K2 Plus combo with a massive 35-hour print job that not only proved our CFS upgrade to be reliable, but other parts of the printer too. You remember how much we loved the epoxy resin build plate on the Creality high combo? Well, we no longer wish our K2 Plus had that too. Why? Watch till the end and you'll find out. I'm Gergo, and if you're new here, this is our channel, Gergo Print 3D, where my little nephew Levi and I explore 3D printing, laser cutting, and all sorts of fun DIY projects. Like all our videos, this one comes with curated translation-ready subtitles and detailed chapter markers to help you navigate. We received both the Creality K2 Plus combo and the high combo from our friends at geekbuying.com. If you haven't seen our previous experiences with them, I link those videos at the end, but with a few easy fixable quirks, we can highly recommend these printers and Geek Buying as a quick, reliable, and affordable source for getting them. Please use our links and coupon codes in the description below to get the best prices while helping out our channel. Speaking of quirks, the biggest issue we've encountered, and I know many of you have too, is with smaller spools or spools that are light or nearly empty. They just don't have enough weight or consistent unwinding to fit reliably through the stock CFS bumpers. This can lead to paused or even failed prints, frustration, and wasted time and filament. I looked at a few community solutions. There's an increased bumper height design by Tech, which is a quick swap magnetic solution, pretty neat. JS Tech's roller design looked a bit too involved for me, with a long parts list to order. The single wheel tensioner by MDALACU, I don't know how to pronounce that, seemed the easiest, but it still needed one bearing per spool and a spring. And I was a bit concerned about the strength of the 3D printed threaded connection for the arm. I really liked the idea of that last tensioner, but I didn't have any suitable bearings or springs on hand. However, many of us probably have some old palm wheels lying around from previous printers. Even used ones will work. So I decided to adapt that concept. Because palm wheels have a smaller inner diameter than the recommended bearings, that 3D printed threaded connection wouldn't work. So I replaced it with M3x20 screws and M3 heatset inserts. I love these little screw assortments from AliExpress. This specific set includes 30 of the M3x20 screws. We only need 4 per CFS unit, plus a bunch of other sizes for future projects, all for about $7. And for the inserts, I designed the opening for an L3 OD 4.5, 3mm long, 4.5mm outer diameter. Again, about $3 gets you 50 of these on AliExpress. Slightly longer ones, or those with a slightly bigger outer diameter, will also work. The palm wheels themselves are a bit heavier than just the bearing, which already provides some tensioning, but for the best effect, I designed a simple 3D printed spring mechanism. If you don't have spare palm wheels, they are very inexpensive. I bought a pack of 24 a while back. For a single CFS unit needing 4 tensioners, a pack of 5 wheels for around $3 will be enough. For 2 CFS units, you'll need 8, so a pack of 10 for about $6 is perfect. These are often cheaper than the bearings you'd need for the original community designs. The palm wheel is friction held in place on the arm, but you can also glue it. If you want to keep your palm wheels pristine and reusable for other projects in the future, I've also designed little glue-in rings to prevent the wheels from sliding out. The total parts list, if you have to buy everything, adds up to around $20, including shipping, for enough to mod 2 CFS units, but chances are you already have many of the screws and maybe even the palm wheels, and these components are great to have in your workshop for future projects anyway. Of course, it took a few iterations to get it right. I experimented with the widths of the arms, the correct shape for the 3D printed springs, and the optimal length of the tensioning arm. We printed the first prototypes using our FL-Sun S1 Pro. That thing is a beast for speed, as you've seen in our previous reviews. And for the first set of springs, we used our then new Sovol Zero, which is perfect for these smaller, quick parts. You can check out our videos on both of these if you're interested. These prototype parts and later the final versions were all printed out of PLA. Once we were happy with the design, we printed a full set for the CFS unit that came with our K2 Plus combo, and then we wouldn't even dream of starting to use the second CFS unit that came with our high combo before making and installing another set for it straight away. All right, let's walk through the complete process from printing to installation. First, you'll need the 3D models. You can download my designs from Called 3D. The link is in the description. I've also included links to the original community designs on printables that inspired this mod, which uses bearings and metal springs if you prefer to go that route. A complete set of 4 tensioners even fits on the build plate of the high combo, not only the K2 Plus. No supports are needed, no brims either, especially if you're using that lovely epoxy resin plate that came with your high. For the springs, I recommend using mouse ears for better adhesions, unless you have the epoxy plate. I use PLA with 3 walls and the standard 0.2mm layer height preset. Add the M3 heatset inserts into the designated holes on the roller. You can use a soldering iron, or if you've seen my earlier video, a stealth press makes this super easy. The palm wheel should snap into the arm. If you decide to use them, glue in the little cover rings to stop the palm wheel from sliding out. Insert an M3x20 screw into the funnel-shaped roller wheel on the tensioning arm. You should see about 5mm of the screw sticking out from the axle tube. Push this tube with the screw through the hole of the palm wheel and then fasten the other small printed roller wheel with the heatset insert using an Allen key. The palm wheel should spin relatively freely. You might need to clean out some of the debris from the screw holes on the new 3D printed base pieces, regardless of whether you've printed them with or without supports. Carefully pop off the original bumpers and springs from the CFS unit. Hang on to these because we'll actually reuse both the bumpers and the springs. Remove the 2 screws holding each of the original bumper bases. Keep the screws as we'll use them to attach the new bases. I kept the original bases too, just in case I ever want to restore it to its original state. Insert your 3D printed spring into the tensioning arm. Make sure the open end of the U shape is facing away from where the palm wheel is. Now you will need a short piece of PETG filament to attach the assembled tensioning arm to the replacement base. Initially I tried using PLA, but it snapped when I bent the ends to keep them in place. PETG is much more flexible and won't get brittle over time. Just pass it through the holes and melt or simply bend the ends. fastened a complete new base assembly in place of the original bases using the original screws with the tensioning arm hanging down. Use the original springs and bumpers in the new bases. These new ones provide a slightly longer range of motion for the bumpers, though still using the same springs. And there you have it, a fully upgraded CFS unit. A big thank you again to geekbuying.com for the Creality printers that inspired this mod. You can find links to their store and these printers in the description. So how does it work? Remember that massive 8-color Luffy print we did on both the K2 Plus and the High Combo? With the mod, out of 618 filament changes on the K2 Plus, we only had 5 missed loads, which were easily recoverable. And on the Creality High Combo, out of the 620 changes, only 1 missed load, and neither was caused by spools not retracting correctly. That's a huge improvement. We've been printing these color transitioning lizards, lots of them. Now, these articulating models are always tricky because some of the small sections have very tiny contact with the build plate. First, we printed a full plate of them on the High Combo. The most we could fit was 7. But thanks to that epoxy resin plate, every single one came out perfectly with no adhesion issues whatsoever. Then we tried printing a similar plateful on the K2 Plus with its original PEI sheet. It's much better for batch production since we could fit 15 there. Even after careful cleaning and applying a glue stick, a few of them came loose. If it wasn't for the exclude object option, we would have lost the whole plateful of them. In the meantime, our Sovol SV08 Max beta unit arrived. Now, that's the printer for huge batches, 31 in total. And that was the printer where the mother of all lizards, this huge display item, was also printed. Look at that compared to Levi, 100 times the size of the original little ones. You might be wondering why we need so many lizards. Well, they are destined for a children's summer camp as little giveaways. And what about the build plate of the K2 Plus? Why did we stop being envious of the amazing bad adhesion the epoxy resin plate of the High has? Well, because we got such a plate for our K2 Plus also. We found many sellers on AliExpress offer the double-sided epoxy resin upgrade plate made by Creality. The one we linked from the description of the video had a great price and arrived quickly. And when it arrived for the K2 Plus, we were eager to test it. We actually got an error message regarding the bed temperature when selecting the plate in Creality Print, but updating the filament profiles with the value 35C for both first and other layers eliminated the error, and the test prints on the K2 Plus stuck so incredibly well that we needed to put in extra effort to remove them. That's the kind of adhesion we like to see. It's best to have both PEI and epoxy and use whichever fits the project best. But the ultimate test was this set of multicolor basketball keychain shoes. This was a massive 35-hour print with close to 400 color changes. We found the model on MakerWord, designed custom logos for the soles of the mini shoes, and colored the whole shoe with team colors. The plan is for everyone on the team of another young nephew to get one of these keychains. This project truly tested both bed adhesion, which was flawless on the epoxy plate, and the filament change reliability of our mod. And every single shoe turned out great. We can do a longer video on this whole basketball shoe project if you're interested, detailing the design, coloring, and printing journey. Be sure to let us know in the comments below. We take feedback seriously, and if you're finding these practical mods and project deep dives helpful, please take a moment to hit that like button down below. It really helps the channel out. So what's next for Gergo Print 3D? We are definitely planning more multicolor adventures, perhaps even on the Soval SV08 Max. I still owe you that tutorial on leveling the bed of the Soval Zero. I have a better solution than what Soval showed you recently. We are also experimenting with a whole room dehumidifier setup to keep our filaments perfectly dry without the hassle of the vacuum bags. More on that soon. And as we teased earlier, the upgrade parts for the SV08 Max have arrived and are already installed. That video covering all those improvements, the HDMI screen, silent controller cooling, and the new auxiliary filament feeding system with a hacked cable is imminent, and we'll be following this one very soon. If you don't want to miss any of these upcoming videos, especially that SV08 Max upgrade deep dive, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you want to see our initial unboxing and adventures with the Creality High combo, click here. And for our videos featuring the Creality K2 Plus, check out this playlist right here. Let's go Print 3D. Thank you for watching this Gergo Print 3D video all the way to the end. Stay awesome.